share it to the news feed. I don't see it up yet. Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Welcome to the Loveability Podcast. My name is Jennifer Stiers, and I'm here to talk love, relationships, sex, marriage, and everything in between.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Loveability Show. I'm your host, Jennifer Stiers, if you didn't already know that, which I hope you do by now. And I am here today with my guest, my star co-host, Steve Spencer.
Hey, folks.
There we go. There he is. Hello there. So Steve has put his title up. I don't know what it means. What is your little title mean under your name?
See, most people who have credentials behind their name, which I don't have the nerve to ask. So when I sign a letter and I put JSPS behind it, they won't ask. But it stands for just some poor schmuck. So nothing special.
You're
just glad to be here with Jennifer and all of you.
Well, we're glad you're here with us. So today we are going to be talking about men and leadership. You know, sometimes I repeat topics. So I know we've done this one before, but the other day I put a post up and it was all about male leadership and how a man should lead a relationship, you know, emotionally and spiritually and in every way. And it got a lot of comments again and a lot of questions.
Unsurprisingly.
Right.
Yeah, unsurprisingly.
Unsurprisingly. Yeah, Steve is right. Unsurprisingly. And you know, the interesting part of it for me is when I decided I wanted to do it. So sometimes it just hits me that this is the topic. This is where I need to go. I can tell people it's a hot topic. People want to talk about it. But then there was this moment where I was like, Steve, where am I going to find the person? Where am I going to find a man that not only gets it, lives it, but can articulate it? And you're the guy. You're the man.
I appreciate that.
So Steve came in from Austin to join us for the show. So let's. I'm going to let you know what's great about this too is I have a guy. So you guys know I'm not picking on you. I promise I'm not picking on you when it comes to this, but there is a yin and a yang that needs to happen in a relationship, and it's not. I mean, let's just call it like it is. It's really not happening, and a lot of you guys are blaming women, and somewhat, you know, rightfully so. There are points where you can point the finger, but it's still your job to take over. Women have become more independent. Women have become
and there's nothing wrong with that. To be clear, there's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong. I mean, I'm an independent woman, so there is nothing wrong with that. But we still need men, ladies. And I think there is that point. So I could say right up front to the women, you women that say, I don't need a man. I can buy my own house. I bought my own car. I don't need a man. I'm happy. we still need each other. I mean, God made Eve for Adam because man should not be alone. It's in the Bible, and it is the way that it is. And we do need each other, and there is an energy that we feed off of with one another that we should. And there's a strength, Steve, that we need to rely on from a man that
Yep.
I can tell you as a woman that very few men, and I shouldn't say that, but very few men possess.
Not enough men possess. I'll
Not
say
enough
it.
men. Okay, that's good.
There's
Not-
plenty of us out there, but there's too many of y'all who hold yourself out as men, but you're acting like little boys. We're going to have a conversation about that today.
Yeah, I think the hard part for me has always been, because I've been coaching for 30 years. I've been matchmaking, and I hear you guys talking and saying, you know what you're doing. You got the leadership thing down. And there are places where you're missing the boat. There really are, guys. And I say that with love because we really do want you to lead. We really, really want you to lead. And I can tell you something, guys, when you get this, when you really, really get it and take it as the constructive criticism that it is, if it's criticism at all, it's more pointers and guidance. But please take it for that, because when a good woman finds a man that knows how to lead, it puts you 10,000 bars above the rest. There are places where you could not have as much as another guy. You may be lacking financially, you may be lacking in looks, you may be lacking in certain areas. But if you can lead in a relationship and you know how to do this, it gives you brownie points you never even realized you were going to get. So Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
So a few things. First of all, Jennifer, thanks for having me. I always love seeing you. I always love spending time with you. Thank you to your audience for tolerating me once again. A few quick thoughts about our topic today. Yes, women have become more independent.
Yep.
Ladies, if you start off with, I don't need a man, I can buy my own house, I can pay for my own car, yeah, you've got the wrong idea of what a man's supposed to do in your life anyway. So best of luck with that. Maybe recalibrate and rethink some of that. Men, you need to learn how to actually treat a woman. And I don't just mean a woman you're dating, I mean women, Yesterday, I watched a guy blow right through a door. Lady was right behind him. He just breezed right through it. He knew she was there.
It's
It was
unbelievable.
obvious that he knew she was there. And I was embarrassed. I mean, I was just embarrassed for actual men, because that wasn't one of us. That
Steve,
just
that
did
blows my mind, and I don't mean to interrupt you, for just basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of times I have had men walk through a door in front of me, like right in front of me, and not hold the door, not just, I'll hold it open for somebody behind me. I'm a woman and
Yeah.
I'll hold it open. But guys that just walk through and don't even bother. I mean, guys, where were you raised? Where were you raised? The least you could do to anybody, a woman, another human, for God's sakes, just common courtesy.
There's a basic rule of humanity that I've taught my daughters. I've tried to practice in my own life. And it doesn't cost you anything to be nice, but it can cost you everything not to be.
Right.
You can just start with that. But for men particularly, how many times do you hear the word chivalry or a chivalrous man?
Yeah.
And for men and women, do you actually know what that means? I mean, do you actually know what it is to be chivalrous? I mean, chivalry itself is an actual code of conduct.
Yeah.
It was the moral code of a knight. It was the expected conduct of a knight.
Can we recreate that? Can we have a 2021 version of that, just to remind? I mean, I guess what
Do I
today's
get
about.
a sword and a helmet?
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
I'd be okay with that.
If you need one, I just wanted to say Laura says hello and welcome and represent Austin.
Thanks,
Laura's
Laura.
from Austin. I think Laura's going to come to the event at the end of the month from Austin. So we have a singles event coming up the 31st
We are
of
so
July.
going to talk about that
Yeah.
event, y'all.
By the way, guys, you get to come show off your chivalrous ways for the ladies in person. So we'll talk more about that later. But, I wish that I wish that they were teaching this code of conduct. I notice a lot of young men don't get that these days.
Yeah.
A lot of young men aren't raised this way.
And in fairness, women have become, to an extent, immune to it not happening. So when it does happen,
Yeah.
it can really stop them in their tracks. And I'm going to call somebody out. It's going to be you.
I knew he was going to
yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Last night, Jennifer and I had dinner. So she drives. She picks me up at the hotel. We go to a restaurant, get out of the car, and she's reaching for a door. I'm like, close the door. What are you doing? So I go around and open her door.
I never touched it. You told me not to touch it.
We walk around. We walk around the car, and she is walking. So we're in the parking lot, like in the roadway, but she is on my left, like out in the roadway. And I literally put my hand on her hip, and I moved her to my right, because you know what? Apparently, not enough people do that when they're out with Jennifer. You're supposed to be on the outside. You're supposed to be, between her and the traffic. And it was subtle. Nobody said anything about it, but I could tell from her body language she noticed. And
I noticed.
And how many people, ladies, how many men have you been out with who don't get that? And men, if you're listening, get it. Tune into that. There's reasons for it. In some cultures, it's important for other reasons, but it's just a basic common courtesy that you can practice, and it'll make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because there are actions that guys can do. Like, these are the things you can do. But leadership in general, and this is what makes this topic a little harder, leadership for a man is an energy also.
Yeah.
It is an unspoken energy. It is how a man presents himself. It's how he shows up. It's how he steps up when he needs to, knowing that he needs to intuitively,
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
It's a really, when you're with a guy where, you go to pull out your wallet to help pay for something, and he says, you know what, put it away. But he says it in a voice where you understand you're not going to sit there and fight with him. He's commanding in his presence and in his delivery. And that's the part of it. And it's not just about paying for a meal or opening a door. It's about everything. It's about handling everything. It's about taking the lead. It's about managing, planning, executing as a man in the relationship, making decisions.
So something about that that we should set straight from the start as well. Fellas, it's important to do these things, but here's a good understanding of why. If you only have $5 to your name, you can still do these things and treat a woman appropriately and make her feel special. But listen to this part. It only matters if you do it all the time, including when you have more than $5 to your name.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just a broke guy looking for a way to fill the void of what you can't do. Don't be that guy. Do it all the time, or don't do it.
Yeah.
Be who you are. Be authentic. Be who you are. Genuinely who you are, because we're men watching you, and women who are with you are going to see through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Excellent point. I want to go back to the post that I put up the other day, because there were a few points in there that I even found as I was writing, like, how do I articulate this? Because it's such an energy, and I'm not, this is where I'm not sure how to articulate it to men. It's lead her spiritually. That's an easy one, but we'll talk about that. Challenge her intellectually, encourage her emotionally, protect her physically. Let's talk about challenging her intellectually. There is nothing hotter and sexier to a smart woman, a good woman, than a man that can teach her something, but do it in a way that doesn't make her feel dumb, but done in a way where he's showing her something that she maybe didn't know, or being able to lead in an area where he can see that she needs guidance or help.
Yeah.
I mean, at the women, this is a hard thing for us to articulate, but I'm speaking for us women. We miss that. That's the one thing about when you don't have a man in your life, that go-to person, like, I don't know what to say here, or I have this going on and I'm not really sure what to do, or I feel this way, or you're questioning yourself about something and you want somebody's honest guidance or opinion. To have that strong man in your life that can lovingly, not egotistically, tell you, no, she doesn't want to be told what to do. She wants to be led. Show her what you see. You know, it's such a balance of
true.
that male energy of leading lovingly and gracefully, but giving her guidance and kind of, it's instead of pulling her along, it's grabbing her hand and showing her the way.
So a good example of that, I'll use something that happened recently with someone I've dated, and she was struggling with something. She's in a new job, which congratulations on that, and working hard at it and doing so well at it that she's really covering 2 jobs.
Right.
And the company has actually posted a second position, and she was making the approach to the company, why don't you just combine the 2, and and I can do both.
Right.
Well, she was talking about how to approach the compensation of it, and I said, so without going into all the details, I'll just tell you, I said, wow, may I make a suggestion there?
Yeah.
And if you start with that instead of just mansplaining it, to them, it'll be so much better received. May I make, you know what? I think you're on the right track. May I make a suggestion? At the end of that suggestion, it seemed well received.
Yes.
And helpful, but it wasn't me trying to Bigfoot her idea or boss her around or mansplain something that she's a smart woman. She knew. She just needed some time to think it through and maybe just a voice of reason to bounce it off of. And that's what you can do as a man in any relationship, your sister, your daughters, but someone you're interested in and trying to build a love relationship with. You can just be supportive and loving without having to demonstrate,
How smart you
a
are.
whole lot of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take a different approach.
I'd like to say, without going into detail about what it was, obviously, but last night it was the same thing. I was talking to Steve, my friend, about something business-wise, and he made a suggestion on something that I didn't know anything about. I mean, it's out of my realm of understanding. And I just want to say, like, that to me, number one, he opened a door for me to see something I hadn't seen before, to learn something that to look into something that I hadn't yet explored. And it was just great guidance. And it from somebody that has a different background, in business than I do. We love that, guys. We love when you can teach us something or show us something or share your expertise in a loving way without, again, being a know-it-all. So that was awesome. So Jerry Ann says, I always have my car door opened upon entrance and exit, help with my wrap coat, walking me inside. So their old-fashioned values I love and appreciate so much. And she does everything to show that she does. I love that. I mean, those things go a really, really long way. Common courtesy.
And if anybody's watching the comments, you notice she didn't talk about anything other than how nicely she's treated that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It matters. Little effort
does.
goes a long way.
It
Guys,
does.
look at this. See this hair? Could you even imagine what all this looks like down here? But I'm able to make up for some of that with some effort and
You're so
trying
silly.
to be a gentleman in the way that I treat people. You should try it. It'll go a very long way.
So I want to talk about it. I mean, interrupt you, but I want to talk about lead her spiritually because I don't want to pass through that first one because it's
tricky.
so important. Do what?
It's a little tricky.
It's a little tricky. I'll tell you one thing that I love that I find very rare these days, and I have found with a couple men in my life, is I love when a man will pray before a meal. I know that sounds from a spiritual standpoint. I mean, that is a man taking the lead, obviously knowing I'm open to it. But that is such a beautiful way to lead a woman through prayer, to let a woman know that you are a leader and a believer and that you have this inner strength. And it's just, there's something very, very powerful and mesmerizing about that because it's so different and it's so unique and lovely. And it gives you a bonding moment because you are connected through prayer on top of everything else that you're connected.
And do it authentically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do it authentically.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be anything real formal or fancy or,
Right.
it doesn't.
Right.
It can be something simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but spiritually, I mean, this is something as well, I will say, because I think a man that can also guide a woman from a spiritual standpoint as to having her, or we guide each other on prayer and praying about it and reminding her that, she's really not the one in charge of her life and that, who is, and praying with her, that's just, or praying for her. And again, we're talking about guys. Of course, women, we want to do the same for our men, but we're talking about men at this point. Being a leader is a leader in prayer too. So spiritually, that's a big thing. And it means a lot for a spiritual woman. So guys, if it's not something that you've made a habit of yourself, I'm going to encourage you to step up to the plate there spiritually, because a good godly woman is going to notice those things and it's going to make a huge difference.
A spiritual leader in a relationship is, especially in a new relationship, is like the textbook definition of faith, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible tells you faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What exactly, could you find a better way to define a first date? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Right.
There's your shot.
Yeah.
There's your shot to really establish yourself and differentiate yourself from every other guy she's dated, and really separate yourself from the jerks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that may be also taking her to church. I know that again
Yeah.
sounds a little, for a spiritual woman, if she is a believer, what a way to step out and step up and show her that you all are led by a greater source than either one of you together. It's incredibly powerful to have a spiritual partner. So
Yeah, very.
the other one was encourage her emotionally, and I think I hit on some of that with the intellectual part. But women, guys, I'm going to tell you something about women. We, from a young age, because we are more emotional than you, surprise, or at least some of you. There are some that are not, sorry, but we're more emotional than you typically. And we are told as women so often that we need to stop being so emotional. Stop being so emotional. Ladies, we've all heard that. We've all heard that, whether it be actuality or from a narcissist. But regardless, we've all heard that. And there is such a great beauty in it with a woman, with a man, if a man can actually validate her emotions on something. I can see why you would see that. I understand totally understandable that you would feel that way. Validate her emotions, because then we feel understood, and that's a big deal.
And it's okay to, if somebody's trusting you enough to open up to you about something that is emotional for them, don't be a jerk about it. I mean, just resist the urge to do, to go to your default settings. Just don't do it. You can be supportive without being emotional. And there are even times when, when I've had people ask me about a business situation. Happened. I had a long conversation with someone in Austin this morning, who I do a lot of work with, and she was telling me all about this scenario, and I finally just said, okay, first you're going to need to distill and separate out the emotion and handle the business. So even if somebody's talking to you and they're
Right.
being emotional about it, it's okay to recognize the emotion and not invalidate it, but maybe encourage. So there's all kinds of ways. My point is, there's all kinds of ways for you to be supportive emotionally, and to support her emotionally, starting with, don't invalidate her feelings. Just don't. You may have to encourage her. You know what? This one, you're going to have to separate the emotion from the business. But what if she's talking about her family? Well, what are you going to do? Invalidate that? Because the date should be over right then and there, honestly. If somebody's going to trust you enough to open up to you about something that's emotional for them, doesn't mean it has to be emotional for you, but don't be a jerk about it. Just don't be that guy.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more on that energetically. So, okay, so I want to talk about the whole provider role, because I think that's such a big area when it comes to men. By the way, I know what I was thinking of a second ago. Guys that have daughters, men that have daughters, you guys that have daughters get it. You're usually a lot better at managing a woman's emotions because of how, I mean, really, it's true, because you have daughters, and sometimes you don't do it so well with your wife because you didn't see it from inception. But when you raise a daughter, there's something about understanding that emotional side of a woman that most guys usually get. So just wanted to add that in. That's an added plus when you guys have daughters.
It's actually a life credential when you accomplish that task. And it never stops, by the way, ever.
So let's talk about that providing thing, because I think that's kind of a big deal in society, about the financial strength of a man. And, I have noticed with women becoming more successful and having good jobs and being able to provide for themselves, that if a woman makes more than the guy, which happens,
Yeah.
and she makes good money, or can get her own things, that money can sometimes be a power struggle, or a place where a man's manhood can be diminished.
Which is ridiculous. I'll just say it now. It's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about it?
Well, so here's the deal. Women are more independent now, and women are, they simply are, honestly, they're more creative. They're smarter in so many ways. And society has evolved where there's an equilibrium of women have opportunities they just didn't have before, as they should. And if you have a problem with that, go back to the dark ages, okay? And go find somebody back, on the prairie to date. Yeah, but you may come across a woman who makes more than you. Again, how you handle that is largely up to you. How that goes in your relationship is up to you. Don't tell me, well, they're demanding, or they're this or that, because I'm just going to tell you, actually, you're too weak to lead that relationship. So this will all go back to a man leading in a relationship. I have dated women who make more than me, okay? You know what I want to do in that scenario? I want to find a way to be supportive of them so they make more. What can I do to really make sure that I am supporting you in the very best way possible? That's different from providing. I want to talk about providing, like the topic you actually brought up. Providing can be something as simple as we're in the car driving down the road, and I can see that she's, feeling some kind of way, and then I realize, you know what, she hasn't eaten. And getting off the road and making sure she eats. You know what, we're taking a break. Mm-hmm. Reaching over and feeling her cup. You're driving up, feeling her cup. Is it empty? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may not need to get off the road for a bathroom break, but get off the road because she might. That is a combination of all the things: providing, leading, supporting her,
Being thoughtful,
sensitive to her, there's a million different things you can do. So look, if somebody starts right off with how much do you make and are you going to be able to buy me a house, none of your business, and no, because this date is over anyway. So it's some of that is up to ladies. You don't need to grill anybody on the first date. If you don't want to be on the date with this guy, don't be on the date with him. But if it's if it's going to be the Spanish Inquisition, I can tell you, I'm not going to want to be on the date with you. Well, I may finish the date, but there won't be a second one.
Well, I think in all of this, we have to at least say that it doesn't matter if you make more than the guy or not, but the guy has to be motivated. He has to work hard.
Well, sure.
He has to have passions in his life.
Sure.
And that's really when it comes to from a leadership standpoint, it doesn't matter who makes more. It's just a matter of a guy stepping up to the plate to life, and even if he does make less, to be able to lead in areas and do things for her regardless of what. It's not about how much you spend on her. It's not about providing financially. As Sev said, it's about laughter, compassion, friendship, that you're providing that too. It's providing all of the essential elements in a relationship, not just the financial part of it, but that strength of you being able to provide for yourself financially. A woman needs to know that you can take care of yourself. Not that you can take care of her, because a lot of good women can take care of themselves. They just need to know that you can take care of you.
So guys, how many of you have gotten into a relationship, and one thing that is kind of a qualifying criteria for you, because I know you're out there, is whether or not the woman you're dating can take care of herself? Because the answer is, there's a lot of us out there, okay? There's a lot of guys who think, I want to know, can she actually just take care of herself? Like, am I being looked to provide materially and only materially? Look, if you date a woman who makes more than you, they've got the same question, and there's nothing wrong with that question. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with having that question. The question is, can you check your ego and be mature enough to roll through that scenario? But ultimately, the issue of providing is so much more than material. And for people who think it is just material, you're in the wrong conversation.
Absolutely. So let's bring this home to dating. Amazing how fast the time has gone today. I definitely want to talk to you guys about the dating part of all of this, because I think you have a great opportunity in it, just even before you meet a woman, to be able to show her that you're a leader. And that first is stepping up to the plate and taking initiative. Ask her out. Pick up the phone.
Yes.
You're not text messaging this. Pick up the phone and ask her out.
I'll give you guys one exception to that, by the way. If you don't have her phone number, but you want to drop her a note and go, but make sure you include, I promise you, if I had your phone number, I would call and ask you properly.
Or you could ask her for her phone number. I'd love to take you out. Would you?
But I can only ask if I have your phone number. May I have your phone number?
Yeah. So call her, ask her out, take initiative, find out where she wants to go, what she likes to do, and then you make the plan. Guys, step up to the plate. That's how you lead. Make the plan. Do it. Don't question yourself. Don't ask her to make the decision. Especially a strong woman makes a lot of decisions. She loves a man that can step up to the plate, come up with a time, a place, and let it be, let that be that.
Now, some of you may be saying, wow, I don't really know anybody I want to ask out. I don't have anybody particularly in mind right now. I don't even know that I've met anybody I really want to ask out lately. Well, let me tell you, July 31st, here's your chance to do it. Jen is throwing her 2021 summer soiree, July 31st. Jen, tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, you're so cute. Well, by the way, guys, you guys complain to me all the time that you can't find good men and women. So I do these parties for you. I definitely don't do them for me. I don't even like parties. Um, but I throw these for you guys to meet. People always meet at my parties. People go on dates after my parties. They're amazing. We've been locked up long enough. It's time to get out, show your face, show your smile, meet people face to face. You don't have to have all that computer between you or all the text messages that you complain that guy never asked you out. Come meet somebody in person, see if there's attraction, chemistry, and all the other stuff. And all the information is on my Facebook page. Let's get back to the topic. But we'd love to see you there. Thank you for bringing it up. So, guys, I think this is the other piece of it. Consistency. I can't tell you how important consistency is from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, safety for a woman is what we're looking for in a man. All right. That's our big thing. How safe is this person? Safety is about consistency. Can you depend on that person? What can you depend on from that person? You know what you're going to get. With a guy, when you know what you're going to get, you know what you can depend on. There is a level of trust that goes into that and a connection that it's unparalleled. So please, guys, be consistent. Let me tell you what that means. That means being in regular communication with a woman. That means making the effort to see her. That means taking her out and doing special things with her to let her know she's important on a consistent basis, not when it's convenient for you or when I cannot stress this enough. This is where you guys are losing it these days. I feel like there's little things you guys can do, but I feel like the big place you're losing it is consistency because you're putting in little effort and because you know you can get something else around the corner. You don't have to try too hard these days.
And that's a perfect point that you just made. So, guys, for as much as it's important to be consistent, I completely agree with Jennifer on that. If you're not going to show up, step off. If you're not going to just step up or step all the way off. Ladies, guys only do that stuff because you have allowed it. You can stop or you can just let it continue. I know you guys have a secret sorority. I've seen I know you have like the secret handshakes and all that stuff.
Ladies?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys are so in sync with each other. Just so incredible. So if women would stop
accepting
putting
bad
up with
behavior
with that kind of garbage, it would stop.
We just talked about that
men
last
are pretty
week.
simple. We're totally trainable. And ladies, you treat men exactly how you teach men exactly how to treat you.
You do from the very beginning.
Yeah.
What you accept and what you don't accept
Yep,
from him.
true.
Yeah, and guys that don't make plans, guys that are inconsistent, ladies, let them go. Just let them lose enough good women where they realize they look at themselves and they're doing something wrong, because don't put up with their bad behavior. Don't think that you can't get another guy or that he's the last good guy or you like this about him. Let go of all of that. If he can't meet your basic relational needs, there's somebody else who can, and you're not going to find him by messing around with that dude that can't get it together.
Yeah. And if you're one of those folks, man or woman, who just can't be alone, you simply cannot stand to be alone for a day or a week or whatever. You're going to keep settling. You're going to keep landing on.
I know we got
options.
off track though. So we so need to say there is a strength. There is such a strength, guys, in your consistency. When a woman knows that you're going to contact them at a certain time, they know that they can depend on you. If you say you're going to go on a date on Saturday, they know that a few days before you guys are going to talk about it and figure out where to go. You're going to have a plan in place. I mean, just do the work. And here's part of the problem. You guys are not always putting all of your energy into a woman. If you want a woman, pursue her and work for it. Put all of your energy into that. Stop being distracted by all the other shiny little objects around you. If you got a good woman, stay focused on her. Figure out what makes her happy. You don't have to smother her. That's not
Yeah.
what it's about. But it is about letting her know you're interested and working for it, because that will impress her. Like that's what leading a relationship is about, is courting her and being in charge. And a woman doesn't feel like she has to be in charge, that he's got it. He's got her, he's got it.
So Jennifer mentioned her post the other day. It kind of kicked off this topic. And she reached out to me as soon as I commented on that post. She said, okay, you're it. You're the guy that I want to do this show with. And you know what my comment was? It was very simple. In the film Camelot, King Arthur talks about how to handle a woman. And he, it's this question that he answers for himself. And the way to handle a woman is simply to love her. Just love her. Merely love her. Just love her. And I'm going to say it again. That's true of any woman in your life.
Right.
And whether it's one date or 1 year that you're celebrating with someone, or 10 years or more, just love her. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be, idiosyncrasies that maybe don't really click well for you. Just love her.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which shouldn't be so hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy we're even talking about it. One of the other things that is a great way to show leadership in a relationship, guys, it kind of goes along the lines of consistency, but it's about your personality and behaviors.
Yeah.
And that is about, like, a man that doesn't get rattled or angry or however, he's able to maintain his own composure and manage himself and manage his personality and manage his energy and manage the things that come at him. Except when he's driving. It's okay to be a little mouthy when you're driving, especially in Dallas. But a man who can manage his emotions, or can step up, like if something bothers him, and this is a big one, if something's bothering him, he's not afraid to bring it up. So there guys that don't know how to engage in a conversation or to confront something and are willing to confront it lovingly. That's weakness with a woman. We want to be able to talk about things, and for you to take the lead in that is perfect. I mean, it's wonderful to know that, and that's part of being safe with a man, that if you've done something, or if there's something you could do better, or if there's something he needs, he's going to speak up about it. Lovingly, he's going to speak up about it. But again, managing his emotions too. If you piss him off, which we'll piss you guys off for sure. But if we tick you off, you handle it appropriately. You don't get angry. You don't, fly off the handle. You're able to manage your own, even if that means stepping away, to be able to say, I'm upset. I'm just going to walk away from this for a moment, and I'll come back and we'll, talk about it later. That's fine. But being able to take the lead in that is necessary, because we are emotional.
And it's too easy for people to walk away now in relationships. 5-6 dates, and then you have some kind of conflict, or you date for 2 or 3 months and you have some kind of conflict, and it's just too easy in our society for people to walk away. And I'm going to suggest this: you're going to fight. You're going to fight. When you do, fight fair. That's the fight fair. You don't have to say things that you can't take back. You don't have to wait until you're thoroughly pissed off to say something. You can just say something. Yeah. And if you're dating an adult, it's up to them how they take the information.
You just said the key word.
So you have to actually trust that you can tell the person you're with, you can tell them something without them turning into a victim or becoming some devolving into some major drama or something like that. And by the way, it's okay for her to say the same thing to you, and it's okay for you to not act like a child when you get that information.
You said something key. You said be an adult, and take responsibility for
what
things.
A concept.
I know, right? Act like an adult. Don't childish, boyish behavior when you're an adult is such a turnoff. but be accountable, to your own behaviors and your own words. So important, guys. A woman wants somebody that she can depend on and that she can be proud of and respect. Be that guy. That matters too. That's kind of one of those unspoken things. If she respects you, and that is earned, but if a woman respects you, that's a form of leadership in a relationship, is that you're earning that respect by your commitment, right? You're being an adult, you stepping up to the plate. I just feel like that's such a big thing.
Oh, hey, Patrick Halsey. Sorry, this is a little off topic. Barry White or Al Green for date music? Neither. Luther Vandross.
Oh,
If you
funny.
can't set the tone to Luther Vandross, brother, you just can't set the tone. I'm just going to let you know right now.
Okay, I'll go for Barry White.
There's nothing wrong with either one. With Barry and Al, but seriously, if you want to set the tone right, Luther.
Yeah, so that responsibility thing is just, it could not, being an adult and being responsible we could just not drive that point home enough to you guys. One of the things, and this thought keeps coming and then it keeps leaving, and I need to make sure that I keep it, that that responsibility thing, a woman that can turn to a man, and even if she's being out of sort, or she's thinking irrational, or her behavior is irrational, guys that can keep a level head through that and keep it calm and bring it back down to reality, and that is a big leadership quality for a man with a woman, is being able to control yourself, maintain your own peace, and bring it back, rational if she needs that, right? Because ladies, we know we can get a little out of control sometimes, spinning our brains, going, to all sorts of places when something's happening. For a man to be able
Do women overthink?
I never,
Get out.
But for a man to be able to bring that home and lead that conversation home, let's get back to what's important here. I hear what you're saying, but let's not go to all these different places. Bring it home. That is such a great ability for us to be able to depend on that, because a lot of times we can't do that if our thoughts are spinning.
Any woman listening to this and any man listening to this, you're going to know this is true. You've been in a relationship before where she may completely fly off the handle at you. She may just really be frustrated and just may let you have it, sometimes with both barrels. And the first most important thing to understand is that pretty good chance that's not really even about you at the root of it.
Right.
So if you can just kind of calmly navigate the waters, and just find the right opening to say, do you mind if I ask, how much of this is really about me and us? Because it seems like there's more to it, and I'd really like to know what the more to it is. Do you want to talk to me about that? Man, that's like diffusing a bomb.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It is. And we love bombs diffused, because, most of us anyway, except the drama ones. But yes, I want to say that I want you guys, I hope that this is well received, because this is so important. We really have the real man. The real man is lost these days. I mean, I know you guys are out there, and I know some of you have pieces of this, but get it together, because to have all of these elements we've spoken about, which should not be hard if you were raised well, but to have all of these elements makes a world of difference in attracting the right person and having the right person in your life, and having a quality woman. So you guys that aren't finding the quality woman, maybe you're not being a quality man. Maybe you need to step up to the plate in some of these areas. And remember that a lot of this is actions and what you do, and a lot of it is energy and who you are. So, it could just be that maybe men, Steve, possibly might need coaching in this area on how to be better at showing up for a woman and being a man in a relationship. And again, I'm gonna throw you ladies under the bus for a second, because I think that some women are so overly independent and assertive and put men down. I know they do it, men. I've watched them, I've seen it, I've heard your stories. I know they do it. It's not okay if you're not doing your job for her to belittle you for it, but it is your job to do your job.
Yeah.
But ladies, you've also got to step back and let a man lead. If you're going to be in charge, and you really don't want to be, so ladies, I know you don't. I know when you get off of work and you hang your hat up at work, that you don't want to be in charge anymore. You don't want to make decisions. Let that man make the decisions. But guys, you got to step up to the plate to do it. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You both work hard, you come home, or you're about to come home and meet up. How does a man take charge at that point in life, like on a daily basis?
And I'm going to suggest that it is important to lead. I mean, it just is. Leadership brings value to everything. You hear about it in business. You hear about it, as you're going through school. Leadership adds a lot of value. Well, it adds value to your relationship too. And one of the more important ways that there are people who lead, they just, grab things, they just grab an issue by the throat and they're going to take control and be in charge. But there's another approach to take. There's one way to do it at work. There's another way to do it in a relationship. How many ladies who Jennifer just threw under the bus, let me reach down and pull some of you back out and ask, when's the last time a guy actually took the time to get to know you? Like scratched this, went beyond the surface and took the time and invested the effort and sat still long enough for an attentive conversation that wasn't about him to get to actually know you. Guys, women do want men to lead, but they're only going to trust you to lead if they can trust you. And that's just going to be a simple truth for all of you to let soak in. So, ladies, if you're wondering, damn it, I can't find a man, who can lead in this relationship. Well, okay, I'm going to say, is it maybe because you haven't found someone you trust? And guys, if the answer to that is yes for a woman, then I'm going to ask you, have any of you actually made the effort? I actually asked a woman recently, when's the last time somebody actually took the time to get to know you? Like scratch, get below the surface and dig in a little deep and get to know you. She didn't know the last time it had happened or if it had ever really happened. If you want to break a woman down like a fraction, the lowest common denominator is get to know them. If you'll invest the time and energy to get to know them, and if you do that, there won't be a power struggle for you to lead. There won't be.
There won't be, because she'll trust you
Yeah.
to lead. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. There is, just like with our girlfriends, ladies, there is that element of being able to be vulnerable and be understood. And guys, that's the key also. What Steve just said is getting to know her and understanding her, just that love, just to be understood. For you guys, I know you guys need it too, right? Men and women need it alike. But to have somebody that understands you, there's such a peace in that. There's such a comfort in that. And when you're talking long-term relationships, that's what people are looking for, is that they want to be with someone who knows them, who gets them.
Here's a great test for anybody listening, man or woman. If you've been divorced, how many of you right now, thinking back on your former spouse, can go, they never really knew me at all?
Yeah. Oh,
How many people just said, oh yeah, he's right, they never really knew me at all? Too many is the answer.
Krista said, a man who is capable of speaking up from a place of vulnerability can be a great source of strength. I agree.
Yeah.
Krista, great point. You guys, being vulnerable is not weak. It's very sexy. I mean, it's not when you're like, crying in your Cheerios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not what vulnerability is. Vulnerability is being able to be open about your life and about your previous relationships and about your wounds in a positive, loving, growth way. So that
like I learned
knows,
from this and I'm not doing it again thing kind of
yeah,
deal.
but a man that knows himself and knows his strengths and his weaknesses are is definitely a turn on and definitely a form of leadership. I love that all of you joined us today. I want to throw a couple things out there before we run out of time. Guys, I can't stress the importance enough to you about leading in a relationship and understanding that delicate balance, because it's not just about what you do. It's not just about opening car doors or standing up when she, gets up from the table. It's not just about that. It is about taking charge emotionally and physically, and in a loving, gentle way. It doesn't have to be egotistical, forceful, controlling. It's not. It's a balance. It's a very, very delicate balance. But doing these things in these areas, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, that's what's going to get you a quality woman. That's what's going to make a difference that's what's going to make the difference. That's when women hang on to those guys that know how to do that. I want to stress the importance too of getting out, people. So we were talking about the party. So for those of you that are in DFW, we're having a party at Oaked on the 31st. Please come out. We have the whole patio. We've got a band. We've got contests. We've got giveaways. I have my sponsor for the show. There she is. Y'all don't forget, she's going to be giving away some aesthetics, some things to make us feel and look prettier. So if you book with her this month, you get 20% off at her office. And I'm going to tell you something. She's amazing. She's done some injections for me to get rid of my little lines in my forehead and stuff and other places that I didn't know I had, which she was so sweetly pointing out. But I didn't even feel it. It was like amazing. I didn't even feel it. But I can't stress enough, and ladies, the importance, and gentlemen, oh my gosh, most of the people that were in the office the time when I was there were men getting injections.
I can understand that.
This is a competitive world. I'm sorry, but it is. You want to look your best. You want to feel your best. You want to be confident. This is how we do it. We take care of our bodies. We got to take care of our faces. I know. Yeah. So we got to take care of our faces too. But we're gonna have somebody out there giving away things at the party as well. Get out there and meet people. Get away from your computers. Take your yoga gear off, ladies, and actually put makeup on. Do your hair. Get out and meet people face to face, because there's something about that chemistry and attraction that just you can see that in real life, and that's why I do these things. Again, I don't do them for me. I can't even, y'all will see me pull a Houdini at some point in the evening. I will leave. Right. I can't stand these events, but I do them for you.
But also, you guys, if you're wondering, how do I get started? Where do I really start? Where's my jumping off point?
Yeah.
If you don't do another thing today, after you're done listening to this show, go get in Jennifer's database.
Oh, yeah.
Go register yourself into Jennifer's database. Super easy. Doesn't cost you anything.
LoveJen.com.
Make sure you register in her database. Jen filters through and deals with good quality people. And it's one of the things that I really respect about her so much.
Yep. And you know what? We're going to be starting to feature singles on the show here, which we haven't done yet, but it's time. I'm going to start featuring singles during the show, and you may be that person. So go get in my database, lovejen.com. Didn't mean to make an ad at the end, but at the end of the day, I want you guys to be equipped. I want you guys to win. I mean, what I do for a living, I mean, I am a coach, I am a matchmaker. I know many of you can't afford my matchmaking services, so I'm trying to help. I'm trying to put things together for you guys so you can meet authentically, and people do meet authentically and do make connections at my events because there's good people there. So don't be afraid. Get yourself together, go get a new outfit or whatever. By the way, it's a patio party on Saturday at the 31st. We are going to be outside on the patio. It is going to be in the evening, but still dress comfortable. You don't have to, put your, black tie gear on. Just be comfortable and cute and authentic and show up. That's all. Just show up. Okay. So Steve, thank you for being here.
Jen, thanks for having me. Guys, I'm going to tell you, didn't come up here on a lark, and I wouldn't do it for just anyone. I really wouldn't. And when I pitch getting registered into her database, I'm doing it for a reason. Jen knows what she's doing. If you want some help, Jen is the woman to help you for sure.
Well, Steve, thank you. And again, guys, I want to, if I ever do this again, I want to be able to have a handful of guys that I could go to talk about this. And I just feel like this is a good refresher course and what ladies want and what ladies need and what you need to do to attract a good one. So I hope you paid attention, and thanks for being here. As always, we'll see you next week.
This is Jennifer. Thanks for listening today, and please subscribe to the podcast. Every single week we'll have new information, and if you'd like to find out more information or if you have any questions, please go to my website at lovejen.com, or you can find me on Facebook at my personal page, Jennifer Stiers.